बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। तौफीक ताईद हिम्मत यारी, तौफीक ताईद हिम्मत यारी। सबसे पहले तमाम साथियों से गुजारिश है कि अपने म्यूट्स को ऑन रखें और टुवर्ड्स द एंड सबमिट द क्वेश्चंस इन द चैट सेशन प्लीज। बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। We are discussing our dua. First, I'm going to start by summarizing what we have already covered in the first part. We learned what is the difference between the translation and the meaning. In every part of our dua, there are surahs and ayat from the Quran, which is in the form of tanzeel, whereas our religion is batini. We need to understand the meaning which is hidden. There's a farman of Maulana Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah, may our souls be sacrificed to this Imam. He says, you must recite your prayers by understanding its deeper mysteries. The only way to capture the mystery of prayers is to understand each and every word that is recited. The way to God is based on its meaning. Pune, June 28, 1908. Then there is a hadith. Indeed, the Quran has an apparent, zahir, and a hidden aspect. And the hidden also has hidden up to 7 hidden aspects. Alhamdulillah, understanding based on this, we are learning the batini meaning of our dua. We also learned about the dot, the period under the alphabet Ba, the alphabet Ba. The dot of Bismillah, now we know, is actually Ali, Maula Ali, who is the door of the Quran. As we know the hadith, Ana Darul Hikmata wa Ali Babuha. I am the house of wisdom and Ali is the door. So Quran being the house of wisdom and Ali is the door. So when we enter into the Quran through Surah Fatiha, which is the first surah in our dua, we have to enter through Ali. No one can enter anywhere without a door. So we begin the recitation of dua with the name of Ali. Ali is the Noor of Allah in this world, hence Ali Allah. So dua meaning would be like this for the first part. I begin by the name of Ali Allah, who is the most beneficent, the most merciful. He nourishes all the personal worlds. He is the most beneficent, the merciful. The Lord of the resurrection is no one else but Ali Allah. We worship Him with this knowledge and understanding. We seek help to continue to walk fast on this path, the path on He is pleased with, not of those who went in wrong direction, as did not seek knowledge to recognize the true Lord, and not of those who are ignorant. O Ali, with the knowledge of certainty, I prostrate in front of you. O Ali, you are my strength, my courage, and the path on which I walk on. You nourish all the personal worlds. We send salawat on you and your progeny, and let us follow, O the chosen and pure progeny of Muhammad and the Ali, with whom Allah is pleased. Ali, who is the proof and the holder of your command. You are the Lord of the time of Asr, meaning the time of resurrection. My prostration and obedience is to you, O Ali. शुरू अली अल्लाह के नाम से जो बड़ा मेहरबान निहायत रहम वाला है। वो तमाम आलम शख्सियात को पालने वाला है. आलम शख्सी meaning our personal worlds. So he is the one who nourishes all the personal world. तमाम आलमीन को पालने वाला, बहुत रहमान और मेहरबान. क़यामत के दिन का मालिक कोई और नहीं, मौला अली है. हम उन्हीं की इबादत करते हैं क्योंकि हम मौला को इल्म की रोशनी में जानते और समझते हैं. हम इस सीधे राह पर चलते हैं क्योंकि ये सीधा रास्ता वो रास्ता है जिस पर तू राजी है, जिससे तू खुश है, जिस पर तूने इनामात भेजे. ना कि उनका रास्ता जो गलत रास्ते पे मुड़ गए, ना ही उनका जो ला इल्म जाहिल रह गए. ओ अली, तू तेरी ही तरफ हम सजदा करते हैं इल्मुल यकीन के मकाम से. या अली, तू ही मेरी ताकत, मेरी कुव्वत और तू ही मेरा रास्ता जिस पर मैं चलती हूँ. या मौला, तू ही हमारे आलमीन, हमारी पर्सनल वर्ल्ड को पालने वाला है. तुझ पर ही हम सलवात भेजते हैं. ओ आले नबी जो के चोजन है, सेलेक्टेड है, और मौला अली जो के पसंदीदा हैं. अल्लाह आप पर राजी है और हम आप पर सलवात भेजते हैं. या मौला, तू ही हुज्जत है और अमर का मालिक है और साहिब क़यामत है. The Lord of the time of असर, जो कि क़यामत का वक्त है. मेरा सजदा, मेरी ताबेदारी और मौला अली तेरे ही लिए है, तेरी ही तरफ है.
सुभान अल्लाह, सुभान अल्लाह, शुक्रल्लाह वल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. तमाम साथियों को एक बार फिर याली मदद. आपने अभी हमारे पहले सेशंस का कुछ खुलासा सुना और इसकी अहमियत को दोबारा से हमने यहाँ पर एम्फसाइज किया कि किस तरह से दुआ की मीनिंग इज़ इम्पोर्टेंट देन जस्ट नोइंग द ट्रांसलेशन ऑफ इट. क्योंकि अगर हम सिर्फ ट्रांसलेशन की बात करते हैं तो फिर बहुत सारे कॉन्सेप्ट, बहुत सारे मायने, जो डीपर अंडरस्टैंडिंग हमारे मज़हब की है वो बाहर रह जाती है, अलग रह जाती है और हम उसको नहीं समझ पाते हैं. सो थैंक यू फॉर दैट. Today we will start Dua part 2, and of course if you still have any question from Dua part 1, do send at the end of the session in the task. In our Dua part 2 you will see that there are two different ayat combined into one. और वो आयत जो है वो इस तरह से है. एक सूरह निसा आयत नंबर 59 से लिया गया है और दूसरा हिस्सा सूरह यासीन जो सूरह नंबर 36 है उसकी 12 नंबर की आयत से लिया गया है. तो ये दो अलग-अलग आयतों का मुरक्कब है, कॉम्बिनेशन है, जो हमारे दुआ के आगाज़ के अंदर यानी कि दूसरे पार्ट के आगाज़ के अंदर हम पढ़ते हैं. सो इंशाल्लाह वी विल गो इनटू द मीनिंग एंड अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ इट इन अ मिनट. सो लेट्स हियर द आयत एंड देन सम ऑफ द ट्रांसलेशन. जी बिस्मिल्लाह.
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू अतीउल्लाह व अतीउर रसूल व उलिल अम्र मिनकुम. This is Surah 4 verse 59. Translates as, O you who believe, obey Allah, obey Rasul, and obey those among you with the amr, the command. Then, وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أحصيناه في إمام مبين. This is from chapter 36, verse 12. And we have encompassed everything in the manifest Imam.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. So, since we already understood and we have emphasized so much on the Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and we understand that we begin anything and everything in our life in the name of Allah, who is Rahman and Rahim. So today we will not go into the explanation or the meaning or batin of that. We already understood that. So let's start with this first ayat, the first piece of the ayat, which is Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu. This ayat are amongst those ayat in the Quran which gives us principle of the Islam, principle of the deen, and the habit that Allah has laid down for the believers. And here the underlined word is believers, क्योंकि जो यकीन नहीं करते हैं उसके लिए ये है ही नहीं. क्यों कि कुरान जो है वो किताब है उनके लिए जो यकीन करते हैं, जो ईमान लाते हैं, जो बिलीवर्स हैं, जो मोमिनीन्स हैं. So this is one of the principle of the Quran, and that is that obey Allah and then obey Rasul. So I'm going to stop here for a second and understand that. For those who say we do not need anyone else, we will directly pray to Allah, ask Allah for the help, ask all our mushkilat to the Allah. Think about this for a second and then answer. खुदावंद ताला फरमाते हैं कि आप इताअत करें, फॉलो करें अल्लाह को और रसूल को. And we have not finished the ayat yet. पहले I wanted to lay down this understanding and the principle. For those who says we will directly ask Allah, meaning all my itahat, my following, my prostration, and everything will be toward Allah and Allah only. And if you say that, then this ayat is not for you. Meaning, this principle that Allah has given in Surah Nisa, ayat number 59, is no longer valid for you, because you are not the one that Allah is talking to. Because Allah is talking to the believers, मोमिनीन, ईमान वालों से ये कहा जा रहा है. क्या कहा जा रहा है? अतीउल्लाह व अतीउ रसूल, खुदा की इताअत करो और खुदा क्या बोलता है? रसूल की इताअत करो. So when we recite this part of our dua, in back of our mind we must understand the principle, a concept of the ayat and the saying in our dua. In one of the Farman, Maula Baba talks about that when and if देखें यहाँ पर वर्ड जो है when and if, अगर आप दुआ पढ़ते हैं, अगर आप दुआ पढ़ते हैं और जब आप दुआ पढ़ते हैं, when and if you read the ayats of the Quran, it must present a concept to you. तो हमने देखा कि यहाँ पर एक कॉन्सेप्ट, एक प्रिंसिपल छुपाया हुआ है, and that is what we need to learn, that when we recite this second part of our dua and when we start with this ayat, it must represent a concept to us, a principle to us. And that principle, inshallah, today when we recite the dua, we will have this in back of our mind, that इत्तेहाद करनी है अल्लाह की, we will obey Allah, and by his farman, with his amr, we will obey Rasul. Take a look at this part. Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu, O you who believe. याद रखें कि ये उनके लिए नहीं है कि जो यकीन नहीं रखते हैं. ये आयत starts with saying, O you who believes. मोमिनो, ईमान वालों, अल्लाह की इताअत करो और अल्लाह के फरमान के मुताबिक रसूल की इताअत करो. Now, having this understanding, let's see what other principle is hidden in this very short one-line ayat. Atiullah wa atiur Rasul wa ulil amr minkum. And those amongst you with amr ilahi. So you follow Allah, and by his amr you follow Rasul, and by his amr you follow those amongst you with amr. किसका अमर? खुदा का अमर. किसका अमर? रसूल का अमर. क्योंकि खुदा ने अपना अमर रसूल को दिया है. Whom God has given his amr to? Rasul. And who Rasul has given his amr to? Imam-e-Zaman, the Ali-e-Zaman, the Aimah-e-Tahirin, the pure Imams, and the Ahl-e-Bayt, the progeny of the Rasul and Ali. They have the Amr of Allah today. That means that we should follow Allah, and after him Rasul, and after him the Imam. Because we have Imam in front of us today, we do not have Rasul, because this is not the time of the prophecy or prophethood, but the time of the Imamat. And because we are following the Amr of Allah, then we must follow his Amr by doing what he had told us to do, and that is to follow. Uski itaat karo. Kiski? The one amongst you with the Amr. Now, there may be a question in somebody's mind, how do we know it is the Imam with the Amr? Why not Qasam Bhai? Why not Karim Bhai? Why not somebody else? Why not some Maulana? How do we know that Allah is talking about the Imam and Imam only? That is exactly what Imam says, that when and if you read the Quran, you should know the meaning of it. So there are few Quranic ayat, and I will invite you all to do some personal search and look for it. And see, you find those ayat which talks about that it is the Imam who has the Amr. इमाम हमारे अमर से तुमको हिदायत करता है. कुरान फरमाता है कि इमाम हमारे अमर से तुमको हिदायत करता है. और आपको दूसरी काफ़ी आयतें मिलेंगी जिसमें आपको 3 का कॉन्सेप्ट मिलेगा. अल्लाह, मोहम्मद और नूर का कॉन्सेप्ट. सो अगेन अतीउल्लाह व अतीउ रसूल व उलिल अम्र मिनकुम. By the way, the reference of the Amr-e Imam is 32:24, Surah 32:24. And do some research and find other surahs in which you will find who is the one amongst you with the Amr. Personal search. Let's come to the second part of the this ayat, which is taken from Surah Yasin, ayat number 12. وَكُلِّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. We have encompassed everything in manifested Imam. I'm going to ask some question and I will answer them for the benefit of the understanding of this part of this ayat. If you go into the Quran, number 1, this is just a part of Surah Yasin, ayat number 12. It's not the complete ayat, but a part is taken from that ayat for the benefit for us to understand who the Imam is. But here it says everything is encompassed in Imam. तमाम चीज़ों को इमाम ज़मान के अंदर रखा हुआ है. If we take this ayat without the meaning, we take it literally and physically, ask question to yourself. Is it possible for everything to be in the Imam? इतना बड़ा गांव है, इतना बड़ा शहर है, इतना बड़ा घर है और इतनी बड़ी गाड़ियां हैं. दुनिया में क्या क्या चीज़ें नहीं हैं. और दुनिया, what about all universe? इतने बड़े बड़े planets हैं. How can everything be in Imam Mubin? How? How can it be? इसको समझने के लिए हमको इन चीज़ों की हकीकत को समझना होगा. So what do we need to do to understand this part of it? To understand the hakikat, the true essence of everything. Since every single thing has a soul and the understanding and the ilm, so ilm of all things, the knowledge and the essence and the soul of all things are encompassed in the Imam. आपको कुरान के अंदर सूरह बकरा के अंदर ये बात मिलेंगी कि खुदावंद ताला ने आदम को हर चीज का इल्म सिखाया था. You will find this in Surah Baqarah, that Allah had taught the knowledge of all things to Adam. Because we believe the same soul, the same nur, there was in Adam, there was in Ibrahim, there was in Muhammad, there was in Ali Murtaza, is in Imam Zaman today. Then Imam Zaman has the knowledge, the soul, and the essence of all things. Imam has two huge attribution amongst lot of other attribution that we will not talk about it, but just two, if you can just remember these two. One, he has akle kol, the universal intellect, and dusra nafse kol, universal soul. In the universal intellect and in universal soul, he encompasses the knowledge of all things and the essence and the soul of all things, because he has the universal intellect, akle kul, universal soul, nafse kul. That's how he encompasses everything. Let's come to the second part, second half of that ayat. इमाम मुबीन, कहां पर रखा है सबको? फी, अंदर, इमाम मुबीन. देखो, if you read the Quran and if you only know the translation or only read the translation, you will see the danger of just knowing the translation and not knowing the meaning. And now you will understand even more further why Imam emphasized on the meaning of the dua, not the translation of the dua. So if you pick up the Quran, and there are so many different translations, so let's say there are 100 different translations of the Quran. 80 to 90% of the translation of the Quran, you will see they will not take the Imam Mubin as manifested Imam, but they will say in the book. In the book. When you're reading the ayat, there is no word book, kitab. There is no word kitab in this ayat. Then how can translation be that everything is encompassed in the book? And you will be surprised to find that, and I will challenge you to go pick up the Quran. 80 to 90% of the translation will be incorrect. Translation, not the ayat, not the kalam-e-ilahi, but the translation. Because they don't believe in Imam, they have no reason to say Imam Mubin. याद रखें कि हम ईमान वालों की बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर, इमाम मुबीन. And I'm going to give you another principle and the understanding of the Quran at this point. So pay attention to this, because this may become really, really handy for you if you are talking to someone who emphasizes on the translation and the zahir, the tanzil of the Quran. But we are talking about the batin and the tawil of the Quran. इमाम मुबीन, यहाँ पर ये जो मुबीन है वो अरबिक के अल्फाजों को समझने से इसकी माने समझ में आती है. मु जो मीम से निकला हुआ है अरबिक एंड उर्दू के अंदर, when do you use a मीम और मु? when you are trying to say उसके ऊपर, उसके अंदर, उससे, within, on it or from it. So if you want to say something कि यहाँ से यहाँ तक, from this point to this point, you will use what? Word mu, जिसको मीम कहते हैं हम उर्दू में और अरबिक में. मुबीन, किसी चीज के ऊपर, किसी चीज से जब यूज बोलना होता है तो you use word मीम. मुबीन, Imam Mubin meaning Imam which you can see with your eyes. क्योंकि बीन का जो वर्ड है वो बिनाई से आया है. The word बीन is from the vision, your light, your eyesight. Your eyesight. कौन से इमाम में सब चीज़ें रखी हुई है? In which imam everything is encompassed? That imam which you can see with your eyes, mubin, with your eyesight, the one you can see. इसीलिए इसके आगे जो हम वर्ड यूज करते हैं इंग्लिश में, manifested imam. Manifested meaning because he has manifested, you can see him. He is clear in front of you. He is visible to you. Not the imam which is gaib, not the imam that you don't see. Now we have clear understanding of this part of this ayat, that we have encompassed the knowledge, the essence and the soul of all things in the imam which you can see with your eyes. He is in front of you and you can see him. So let me stop here for a second. Ji, Bismillah.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. There is a verse in Quran, chapter 63, verse 5. It says, they turn their heads aside and you see them evading while they are arrogant. So those who do not believe in the knowledge given by Imam, or they don't believe in the Imam, they would turn their heads as arrogant. Al-Mu'id Shirazi says, there are people who imagine that they can acquire this knowledge by themselves. They find faults with the Imams and turn away from their teachings. These people can never reach the goal. They will always be groping in the dark. So, validating what we are learning that through these references, that those who believe this verse when it says, Ya ayyuhal lazina, O who you believe in Allah, believe in His Rasul and believe in Imam. So this is only spoken to those who are believers. And what we have learned just now, that if we are the believers, we have to read the Quran. If we do not know the Arabic, we can read the transliteration to know what is being said in the Quran, because the translations can be different based on their beliefs. We'll go further now. Allahumma ya Maulana antas salam. O Ali Allah, you are the salamati. Wa minka salam, from you is salamati. Wa ilayka yarja'us salam, to you salamati returns. Hayyana Rabbana bis salam, give us life, O my Rabb, with salamati. Wadkhilna dar salam, admit us in the house of salamati. Tabarakta Rabbana wa ta'alayta ya zal jalali wal ikram. You are the pure, our Rabb, and the most high, Lord, Lord of majesty and generosity, Lord of glory and honor. So we are praying for salamati and praying to be admitted in the house of salamati. And now we know the salamati is Mawla himself. He is the salamati. So we are seeking him, we are praying to him for complete protection and peace, meaning no death. As we are praying, give us life. And that means we do not want to die. We do not want to ever die. And in Farman, Mawla says in Zanzibar, August 17, 1905, he says, we are your guide. No one else is your guide. You have given your hands to us and you are under our protection. Meaning, Mawla is saying to us that we are under his protection. We are under his salamati. The question would be, if we are under his protection, why do we die?
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Very good question to think about. So while everyone is thinking about this question, that if we are under His protection, why do we die? So let's start with the understanding of this part of the dua, which is literally is a dua, a prayer in the dua. This is the prayer. यानी कि हम दुआ मांगते हैं खुदा से. किस चीज़ की दुआ मांगते हैं हम? And remember we raise our hand, और जहाँ पर हम हाथ उठाते हैं, that is symbol that we are asking for something, praying for something or begging for something. So what are we asking for or begging for or praying for? So let's see if we can understand this part. Again, I will need your complete attention because this is something which you may not have ever heard, because in the translation you will not see this part. This is the deeper batini meaning of the dua. Allahumma ya Maulana anta salam. Very simple words, we all agree. O Allah, or O Ali Allah, you are salamati. We all agree on this part. We all agree on this one. Wa minkam salam. Wa minkas salam. From you is a salamati. Again, we all agree on this part, that he is the salamati and salamati is from him. So far we all agree on this two portion of this prayer. Now the third one is a questionable. Waleka yarju salam, and all salamati returns back to him. Now there is a question, confusion. If he is the salamati and from him is the salamati, and if the salamati returns back to him, तो फिर हम गरीबों का क्या होगा? What will happen to us? We were asking him for salamati. It is salamati from him. He is full of salamati. And we receive the salamati from him. But then the salamati returns back to him, और हम खाली के खाली हाथ रह जाते हैं. What happened here? We must know the meaning of the dua. We must understand the meaning, the batin of our dua. When we don't, we are just saying things for the sake of saying things. Because here, in the first and second, we all agree with each other. But the third part is questionable. Why is it questionable? Why would you say that I would have any question in our dua? In our holy dua, why would there be a question? The reason this question is because I believe that we have not understood our dua yet. But after today, inshallah, we will have no problem and we will have no question. So let's understand this. The word salamati, how do we understand this word? कि खुदा जो है वो सलामती है. खुदा सलामती है, तो खुदा is above all else. Imam salamati है, Hathor Imam was everything, not just salamati. He's Rahman, he's Rahim, he's Ghafur. He's everything. Why is he just salamati? So we can say, okay, that it is salamati from him. I agree 100% now. The reason we call him that he is salamati, because salamati is from him. Again, what does salamati means? Salamati means that he has a life. he has a soul which never ever dies. इमाम के पास एक ऐसी जिंदगी है सलामती वाली. इमाम हैज अ लाइफ विद सलामती जो कभी भी नहीं मरती है. वो जिंदगी कभी भी खत्म नहीं होती है. That is the reason that we have imam after imam after imam after imam. Nuran Allah Nur. Imam is always and always and always present. Why? Because he has a life of salamati. उसके पास एक जिंदगी है जो सलामती वाली है, एवर लिविंग है, नेवर डाइंग है. अब सूरह फुरकान के अंदर जाकर देखें आयत नंबर 58 के अंदर, तो आपको ये प्रिंसिपल मिलेगा अगेन जो खुदावंद ताला रसूल सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को फरमाते हैं. क्या फरमाते हैं? और रसूल, ओनली पुट योर तवक्कल, योर ट्रस्ट इन दैट हु इज अल हई, नेवर डाइंग, La Yamut, never dying. Alai, ever present and ever living. La Yamut, never dying. Even Allah's Amr and Hukam, the Farman to Rasul is to only put his trust in the one who is Al-Hayy, ever living, who is La Yamut, never dying. यही बात हमारी दुआ के अंदर यहाँ पर है कि या मौला, तेरे पास एक ऐसी जिंदगी है जो सलामती के साथ है, अलहई है और ला यमूत है, हमेशा जिंदा है, कभी नहीं मरती है. नाउ द सेकंड थिंग वेयर वी से फ्रॉम यू इज द सलामती. फ्रॉम यू वी कैन रिसीव द लाइफ, वो जिंदगी जो कभी भी खत्म नहीं होगी. अगेन क्वेश्चन कम्स टू माइंड, लेकिन हम तो कल मर जाएंगे. वी विल डाई टुमारो, राइट? There's one thing is certain, for sure, 100%, that everyone who's born will die. Then what are we talking about here? What we are saying at this point, that Ya Allah, the life that you have, the ever-living salamati that you have, give us that salamati to our soul, so may my soul become one with you, and because you will not die, I will not die. तू मेरे को वो सलामती दे, मेरे को वो रूह दे, वो नूर दे जो तेरे पास है. Because you have the salamati, from you is the salamati. तुमसे मुझे सलामती है. Give me that life. Let me become one with you in your soul and in your nur, so I may never die as you never die. अब the third part जो था वो हमको समझ में आने लगा. Now there is no more question, and to you सलामती returns. तो इसका क्या मतलब हुआ कि हमारी वो जिंदगी जो हमेशा की जिंदगी है वो तेरी तरफ लौट जाएंगी. Because now we have a जिंदगी, a soul which is ever living, it will return back to the Imam. क्योंकि वो जिंदा है, वो हमेशा है, और अभी हमको उसने वो जिंदगी दी है. Because he is alive and he has given us the same soul and the life, that ever living life of salamati will return back to him. Now this makes all the sense and logic. You see the power in knowing the meaning of the dua. Allahumma ya Maulana anta salam wa minka salam wa alayka yarju salam. And look at the next word, Hayna. Because you may ask, where does it say to give me a life? right here in this word. Hayna Rabbna Bisalam. Hayna, the one who is ever living. जिंदगी देने वाला, जो खुद जिंदा है हमको भी जिंदा करता है. The one who has a life, who is ever living, not only he is living, but he can also make you like himself, ever living, by giving you the life of salamati. इसका दूसरा वर्ड जो है रबना. रबना पालने वाला. वो किसको पालता है? वो हमारी रूह को पालता है. And we had talked about that in our first part. We all remember, जहां पर हमने इमाम जाफर सादिक की बात की थी कि इमाम फरमाते हैं कि ये मेरे लिए है, ये हमारे इमामों के लिए है कि हम रब्बुल आलमीन हैं. रब्बुल आलमीन तमाम जहानों को पालने वाले. यहाँ पर जहान यूनिवर्स आउटर नहीं है, इनर है. आवर पर्सनल वर्ल्ड की बात हो रही है यहाँ पर. hayna, give us a life. Rabna, O my nourisher. Rabbal Alameen, O my Rabbal Alameen, give me the life of salamati, so I may never die. Wadikilna Daris Salam, and enter me into the home of salamati. अब ये घर कौन सा है सलामती का? Is clear as a daylight now to us. और वो क्या है कि या इमाम या हमारे मौला, you are that home of salamati. You are the living paradise. You are the living imam in which is that place of salamati. So please enter me into that home of salamati. I'm going to take one more minute and I'm going to talk about this part, these prayers in reverse for benefit of understanding this part. Just think about this, okay? This is just for our learning. If I read from the bottom up, and let's say this makes more sense to us. O Imam, enter me into your home of salamati, so I may receive the life of salamati, so I may return back to you, because you are the salamati and from you is the salamati. ये इसका मतलब होगा अगर हम उसको नीचे से ऊपर पढ़ते हैं, for our understanding. Otherwise, I believe we have understood this part clearly, but if you have any question, do ask. Ji.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. So the answer to the question that when we are under the protection of Imam, why do we die? So it is not the physical death we are talking about. When we are saying Hayyana Rabbana Bisalam, we are praying to be born or to be coming to life at a level of spirituality and intellectuality. So this life is ever living life because Imam is always living. He is ever living. So the word Al-Hayy, the Hayyana word is from word Al-Hayy, which means the one who is living and the one who can bring you to life. So it's the miracle of the name of Allah, the Al-Hayy, who is ever living. In other words, we know this word as in our prayer we say Asal mein wasil. What is the Asal? Asal is the origin, the Salamati. In that, when we are alive, when we are living, we are one with the living universal soul. With him, we are always living. Now these Quranic references are P by 2, 2 by 55 and 20 by 111. So let me read 3 by 2, and 2 by 255 has the same reference. Allahu la ilaha illa huwal hayyul qayyum. Allah, there is no God, but He, the living, the sustainer of all existence, the eternal. Al-Hayy, the word Al-Hayy we are focusing, who is ever living. So it is the word Al-Hayy, the miracle of Al-Hayy, that He is living and He can bring us to life. Allah के सिवा कोई माबूद नहीं जो जिंदा और सबका निगहबान है. Now we know that He is zinda how? Through the concept of Nurun Allah, Nur. He is always living. Salamati returns to you. Beautifully explained that those who will return to Mawla in Salamati, meaning that they would attain this majiza, this miracle of becoming alive through the miracle of Al-Hayy. When they are living, when they are alive, they will enter the house of Salamati. And this concept actually has been taught to us by our Pir Sadruddin. He says, Tariye tu taran hare khudavan, avar na tare tuja koi ali, tu hi tu. Oh God, save us, because you are the only savior. Nobody else beside you can save us. Oh Ali, save us. So Mawla Ali, who is the Al-Hayy, and He is the one who can make us, who can bring us to life. Physically we may be alive, but the question here is, are we spiritually and intellectually alive or not? Because it is this knowledge of certainty that is giving us this knowledge and understanding that probably we are not alive. Zinda numa murda, living death. When we understand this dua, we are actually praying to come to life with the majiza of Al-Hayy, so we can enter in the house of Salamati. So the key concept here is that we want to become alive and enter in the house of Salamati. We do hear this dua when somebody dies. Fir Mawla usko asal mein wasal kare, Nurani didar de. In dua, 3 times we recite this dua. Now we understand it, that when we say it, we are asking Mawla to bring us to life the way He is alive. Meaning that we do not need to die to be asal mein wasal. During our lifetime, we can get to His didar, Ruhani and Nurani didar, by entering into the house of Salamati. And then I would like to just comment about this beautiful verse 25 by 58, which we reviewed already, that rely upon the ever-living. Exactly the same verse Pir has taught us in the Ginan. That no matter what, if you rely on the ever-living, meaning the Al-Hayy, Huwal Hayyul Qayyum, Tariye tu taran hare khudavan. If we understand our dua in the way we are understanding with the help of Quranic knowledge, it makes us understand that we do not need to depend on people to pray for us when we are dead. During our lifetime, we can attain that rank where we are one with the Imam in the house of Salamati. Alhamdulillah, this dua is so beautiful that we can talk and never end it. Beautiful concept Mawla has given to us in this dua. So I would end here. If anyone has any comment or any question, please come forward. Send your questions through chat so we can talk about it. Thank you.
I see one question here. I believe she is asking. So it's more like a comment that Salamati, the word Salamati, meaning a zindagi of ever living, and how do we ever live in Imam. So like I said earlier, that when we are praying, there is a concept which should come into our mind that Ya Mawla, when I die physically, I would like to be merged in you, Fanafi Imam, Asal mein Wasal, because you are ever living. यानी कि हम जानते हैं कि इमाम तो कभी नहीं मरता है, इमाम हमेशा दुनिया में हाजिर और मौजूद है, जिंदा है. And because you are ever living, Ya Mullah, I'm praying to you, give me the salamati, give me the life of ever living life that you have, so I may return back to you with this complete and ever living life जो कभी भी खत्म नहीं होने वाली है. That's what this means, salamati. Thank you.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Any other comment or question? Please do share. Alright, so I see one question. Thank you. Can you elaborate a little bit on Mubin and Bayan? If I heard correctly, you mentioned a link with vision. I thought Bayan and Mubin was linked with speech and making clear by the way of explanation.
Ji. So remember, there are so many root words in Arabic, just as we have it in our English language or Urdu language. So the word bean, वो बयान से भी निकलता है, यानी कि बयान का रूट वर्ड भी बीन है और देखने का रूट वर्ड भी बीन है. आई साइट, बीनाई जिसको कहते हैं हम, बीनाई का वर्ड जो है वो भी बीन से आया है, बयान का जो वर्ड है वो भी बीन से आया है, यानी कि इन दोनों का जो रूट वर्ड है वो सेम है. लेकिन चूंकि यहाँ पर उससे आगे जो है मैनिफेस्टेड इमाम, इमाम मुबीन, चूंकि यहाँ पर हम एक ऐसे इमाम की बात करते हैं जो हमारे सामने है. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट इमाम हु इज एवर लिविंग, और वो मैनिफेस्टेड है. बिकॉज ये मैनिफेस्टेड का जो इंग्लिश में वर्ड है वो मुबीन से आया है. समथिंग दैट यू कुड सी विथ, जो मुंह है ना, मुबीन, विथ योर आईज. अगर यहां पर बयान का वर्ड होता तो फिर क्या होता कि जिसको तुम अपनी अक्ल से देख सकते हो, यानी कि सीख कर, यानी कि नॉलेज लेकर आप देख सकते हो. सो या मे बी अदर्स डोंट सी इमाम बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव द नॉलेज, देन या why not? But because we are talking about us as an smiley, we are saying that everything is encompassed in the Imam which I can see with my own eyes. यहाँ पर एक और वजह है इस मायने के, क्योंकि कुछ मुसलमान कहते हैं कि इमाम तो है लेकिन गायब है, हम देख नहीं सकते हैं, इसलिए यहाँ पर जरूरी हो गया. बिकॉज सम से देयर इज इमाम बट दे आर हिडन, सो देन इट इज नेसेसरी and important for us to understand that we are talking about the Imam which we can see with our eyes. We are talking about that Imam, not the Imam which we cannot see. It's not a hidden Imam, but a manifested Imam. Thank you. Good question.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. There's one more question. How can we understand the concept of salamati in the light of the verse 2 by 156 which says Kalu anna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Kalu inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
Ji, because this is from Surah Baqarah, ayat number 155, 156. It is exactly same concept given to us from the different side. And what that was, that we are from Allah and we are returning back to Allah. But in our dua, what we are saying, that we are Allah, we understand. we are from you. We all understand actually. Muslim or no Muslim, we all understand that we have become alive, human body, and one day we will die and we will go back to our origin. Most people don't know where their origin is. They don't know where is their origin. When we say, Ya Allah, we are from you, we don't even know where Allah is. And we will return back to you. Where? But in Ismaili Tariqah, in our concept of Tariqah, we know where we are from. We are from the soul of the Imam, which is the universal soul. And when we pray, what we are saying? That don't make me wait. I know I will return back to you, but I don't want to wait. As soon as I die physically, I wanted to be with you instantly. And I only can become with you one instantly if you have given me that soul, a living soul, then I can become one with you because you are living soul. Because they are both one and the same, then I will become one with you. So there is two different concepts we are talking about. One, a concept of Fanafi Imam, and one concept of living, dying, and then taking our time to be one with the Imam. I hope this makes it more clear. Ji.
Subhanallah. I don't see any more questions. If no questions, then we'll end here. Thank you so much, Yali Mother. Thank you for joining us on Sunday morning. This is such a beautiful gathering, and this is all praises of Mawla. Understanding our dua gives us so much of happiness to see you all here. Thank you so much for joining. Yali Mother, Nawazish, Yali Mother.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, our friends online, for helping us with the references promptly and quickly. Thank you, and thank you, Nama Sahaba, for helping this morning. Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, and thank you.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.